I stared at the wedding invitation mock-up on my computer screen, my hands trembling as I reached for my coffee. The names Matt and Mary sparkled in elegant gold font, mocking me with every pixel. The irony wasn't lost on me. My husband of 8 years was marrying my best friend since childhood. And here I was, designing their wedding invitation. My name is Willow, and I'm one of Seattle's most sought-after event planners. Normally, I'd be thrilled to work on a high-profile wedding like this, but nothing about this situation was normal. So, what do you think? Matt's voice crackled through my office phone's speaker. Mary really likes the gold accents. I took a deep breath, remembering the day 3 months ago when I discovered their affair. The signs had been there. Late nights at the office, mysterious text messages, sudden gym memberships. But nothing prepared me for walking in on them, in our own home, on our anniversary. The design works, I replied, my professional mask firmly in place, though I'd suggest a slightly darker shade for better contrast. That's why we need you, Will, he said, using my old nickname, as if nothing had changed. You've always had an eye for these details. The casual way he spoke made my stomach turn. Matt, are you sure about this? Me planning your wedding? Who better? You're the best in the business. And Mary specifically requested you. Of course she did. Mary, my best friend, since 6th grade, who held my hand through my parents' divorce, who was my maid of honor at my own wedding. The same Mary who now wore my husband's ring. I'll need to think about it, I said, buying time. We'll pay double your usual rate, Matt added quickly, plus a bonus for the unique circumstances. A knock at my office door saved me from responding. Sebastian, my younger brother and business partner, walked in with concern etched on his face. He'd obviously overheard enough. Matt, I'll call you back, I said, and hung up before he could respond. Tell me you're not actually considering this, Sebastian said, closing the door behind him. I spun my chair to face the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Seattle. What if I am? Sis, that's insane. They humiliated you. They're offering double plus a bonus, I interrupted, turning back to face him. Since when do you care about money? We're doing fine. I stood up and paced the room, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor. It's not about the money, Seb. Then what's it about? He leaned against my desk, arms crossed. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text from Mary. Please say yes. I know I don't deserve it, but you're the only one who understands what I want. I laughed bitterly. What she wants? That's rich. Willow. Sebastian's voice carried a warning. You know what the worst part is? I said, showing him the text. She's right. I do know exactly what she wants. I know her dream wedding because we planned it together in college, the same wedding she's now having with my husband. All the more reason to say no. I walked to my inspiration board, covered with photos from previous events. Or all the more reason to say yes. What are you thinking? Sebastian knew that tone in my voice. My phone rang again, Matt this time. I answered on speaker. Have you decided? Matt asked. I caught Sebastian's eye, and something shifted inside me. Yes, I'll do it. Great. Mary will be thrilled. We can meet tomorrow to discuss details. Perfect. And Matt, I promise this will be a wedding no one will ever forget. After hanging up, Sebastian stared at me. What are you planning? Nothing illegal, I assured him. A small smile playing on my lips. Just a masterpiece of karma. Willow. Trust me, little brother. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about making them face themselves in the mirror. My phone buzzed again with a message from Mary. Thank you. Lunch tomorrow, like old times? I typed back, looking forward to it, and felt a calm settle over me. They thought they knew what they were getting. Seattle's premier event planner, the woman who could turn any celebration into a fairy tale. What they didn't realize was that every fairy tale needs its villain. And sometimes the villain wears a smile and carries a clipboard. Sebastian shook his head, but couldn't hide his grin. You're either brilliant or crazy. Maybe both, I replied, already opening my planning software. But one thing's for sure, this wedding is going to be absolutely perfect. Every detail, every moment, every little thing they asked for, and that's exactly what scares me. As I began creating a new project file, I felt lighter than I had in months. Sometimes the best way through hell is to become the tour guide. A garden wedding. Are you kidding me? Sebastian tossed the email printout onto my kitchen counter. That was your dream venue. I poured us both another glass of wine, trying to keep my hand steady. The Anderson Estate Gardens, where Matt proposed to me. This has to be Mary's idea of a sick joke. Actually, it was Matt's suggestion. I took a long sip. He said, and I quote, "Since you're familiar with the venue, it'll be easier for you to plan." Sebastian's face reddened. "I'm going to kill him." "Get in line." I managed a weak smile. "Mom's already called dibs." As if summoned, my phone lit up with our mother's face. I put it on speaker. "Darling, tell me the rumors aren't true." Elizabeth's voice filled my kitchen. "Angela just called me in tears, saying you're planning their wedding." "Hello to you too, Mom. Don't sass me, young lady. What are you thinking?" Sebastian leaned toward the phone. "That's what I've been asking her." "Oh, Sebastian's there. Good. Talk some sense into your sister." I grabbed my planning tablet, pulling up the preliminary designs I'd been working on. "Both of you need to trust me. I know exactly what I'm doing." "That's what worries me," Mom sighed. "Revenge isn't the answer, sweetheart." Who said anything about revenge? A knock at my door interrupted us. Through the peephole, I saw Angela, her mascara smeared from crying. I let her in, and she immediately wrapped me in a tight hug. "I just ran into Mary at Starbucks," she said, still holding me. She was showing off her engagement ring, your grandmother's ring, to everyone who would listen. My stomach dropped. I'd forgotten about the ring. Matt had given me his grandmother's vintage diamond when we got engaged, promising it would stay in the family forever. "That's it." Sebastian grabbed his keys. "I'm going over there." "Sit down," I commanded, pointing at the bar stool. "Nobody's going anywhere." "Willow," Angela said, finally releasing me, "you don't have to do this. I'll help you find another planner for them." And miss the opportunity of a lifetime? I walked to my home office and returned with my portfolio. "Look at this." I spread out the initial concept boards I'd created, elegant garden arrangements in white and gold, but with subtle touches of black roses hidden throughout, a seating chart that would put all their gossiping friends next to the people they hated most, a carefully curated playlist where every third song contained lyrics about betrayal and karma. "My God," Angela whispered, studying the details. "They'll never notice until it's too late." "Exactly," I smiled. "Everything they asked for, with a twist they won't see coming." "Willow," Mom's voice reminded us she was still on speaker. "Promise me you won't do anything you can't take back." "Mom, I promise this will be the most memorable wedding I've ever planned." A text message popped up on my phone from Ernest, Matt's brother. "Can we meet? There's something you need to know." Speaking of memorable, I showed the message to Sebastian. "The plot thickens." "Be careful," he warned. "Ernest always takes Matt's side." "Not this time," Angela interjected. "He's furious with Matt. He refused to be best man." My phone buzzed again, this time with an email from Mary. The subject line made my blood run cold. "Wedding theme ideas." I opened it, reading aloud. "Dear Willow, I've been thinking about our history together, and I want to incorporate elements from our friendship into the wedding. Remember all those summers we spent planning our dream weddings? I'd love to use some of those ideas." "The audacity," Mom gasped. "No." Angela shook her head. "She can't be that clueless." I closed my laptop with a sharp click. "Oh, but she is. And that's exactly what I'm counting on." Sebastian refilled my wine glass. "You're scary when you're plotting." "I prefer the term strategizing," I corrected him, pulling up my calendar. "Now, who wants to help me meet with Ernest tomorrow?" "I'll come," Angela volunteered. "I need to give him the photos anyway." "Photos?" I asked. Angela pulled out her phone, showing me pictures from last Christmas. Matt and Mary, in the background of various shots, their secret glances and touches now glaringly obvious. I found these when I was cleaning out my phone, she explained. They were having their affair right under our noses for months. I studied the images, feeling a familiar ache in my chest. But this time, it was different. Instead of pain, I felt purpose. Send those to me, I said, my mind already racing with possibilities. And Mom, you can stop worrying. Everything I'm planning is completely legal and professionally executed. That's precisely what concerns me, Mom replied. You're too good at what you do. I looked at my reflection in the darkened window, seeing not the broken woman from 3 months ago, but someone stronger, someone with a plan. Trust me, I said, more to myself than to them. This wedding will give everyone exactly what they deserve. The Anderson Estate gardens looked different in autumn. Dead leaves scattered across the paths where Matt had once knelt with my grandmother's ring. Now I stood there with Mary, watching her twirl in excitement. The ceremony arch would look perfect here, she gestured, oblivious to my clenched jaw. With white roses, just like we always talked about. White roses die quickly in October, I said, making notes on my tablet. But black dahlias thrive. Black flowers. Mary wrinkled her nose. That seems a bit dramatic. They're actually very elegant. Trust me. We walked toward the reception area, our footsteps crunching on fallen leaves. My mother's words from last night's phone call echoed in my head. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves. Willow, Mary touched my arm. Are you okay? You seem distant. I plastered on my professional smile, just visualizing the space. Speaking of which, I had some questions about the guest list. Before she could respond, my phone rang. It was Ernest. Sorry, I need to take this. I stepped away, leaving Mary examining the garden trellis. Ernest? Willow, I've been going through Matt's old emails. His voice was tight. There's something you should see. Can you meet me at Cafe Luna in an hour? I'm with your future sister-in-law right now, I said loudly enough for Mary to hear. But I can wrap this up. Mary appeared at my side. Oh, is that Ernest? Tell him I need his final decision about being best man. I watched her face fall as Ernest's voice carried through the speaker. Tell her I'd rather eat glass. After ending the call, I turned to Mary. We should finish the venue walkthrough. I have another appointment. Wait, she grabbed my wrist. I know this is hard for you, but I need my best friend back. Remember when we were 15, planning our weddings? You promised to be my maid of honor. And you promised never to hurt me. I pulled my hand away. Funny how things change. An hour later, I sat across from Ernest at Cafe Luna, staring at his laptop screen. Emails between Matt and Mary dated back 14 months, long before I discovered their affair. He was playing both of you, Ernest said quietly. Look at the timestamps. He'd email you about date night plans, then immediately message her about meeting up. I scrolled through the correspondence, my coffee growing cold. Why show me this? Because my brother's a coward. Ernest ran a hand through his hair. He's not marrying Mary because he loves her. He's marrying her because she threatened to tell you everything if he didn't. My phone buzzed with a text from Sebastian. Mom's here at the office. She has ideas. I have to go. I stood up, my mind racing. But Ernest, thank you. What are you going to do? My job. I'm going to give them a wedding they'll never forget. At the office, I found Mom arranging fresh flowers in my workspace, while Sebastian looked on in amusement. Darling, Mom said, without turning around, I've been thinking about your situation. Mom, I told you. Hush and listen, she continued arranging. When your father left me for his secretary, everyone expected me to cause a scene. Instead, I helped plan their office Christmas party. Sebastian and I exchanged glances. We'd never heard this story. What happened? I asked. Mom smiled, placing a final flower. I made sure everything was perfect. Absolutely perfect. So perfect that when it all fell apart 6 months later, everyone remembered who had created their last happy memory together. Did you sabotage them? No need. She turned to face me. I simply gave them exactly what they wanted. Sometimes that's punishment enough. My phone chimed with an email from Mary. Found my old wedding scrapbook from high school. Coming over to show you. Perfect timing, I muttered, showing them the message. What's in that scrapbook? Sebastian asked. Everything. I couldn't help smiling. Every detail of her dream wedding that she shared with me over the years. Every secret hope and fear about her future marriage. And you're going to use it against her? Mom raised an eyebrow. No, I said, moving to my design board. I'm going to give her exactly what she wanted. Every dream, every detail, exactly as she imagined it, including the traditional wedding speech from her best friend. Understanding dawned on Sebastian's face. The perfect maid of honor speech. From the perfect ex-wife, I finished. Mom's right. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destruction. It's about perfect execution. My phone buzzed again. Mary was in the lobby. Mom gathered her things, pausing to kiss my cheek. Remember, darling, she whispered. The best karma is the kind they bring upon themselves. As I watched Mary bounce into my office, clutching her old scrapbook, a calm settled over me. She had no idea that her teenage dreams were about to become her worst nightmare, all wrapped in perfect white roses and black dahlias. I always felt like I was living in your shadow, Mary said, stirring her latte. We sat in the corner of our old favorite coffee shop, her teenage scrapbook open between us. You had the perfect career, the perfect husband, the perfect life. I nearly choked on my Americano. Perfect? Look at this. She flipped through the scrapbook's pages. Remember when we planned my wedding? Everything I wanted was just a cheaper version of what you eventually had. And now you have it all. I couldn't keep the edge from my voice, including my husband. Mary's hand trembled as she turned another page. I never meant to fall in love with Matt. Did you mean to sleep with him on our anniversary? The coffee shop fell silent. A few heads turned our way. That was... Mary's face flushed. We were drunk, and... Save it. I pulled out my tablet. Let's focus on the wedding. You wanted the Anderson Estate Gardens? Willow, please, can we talk about this? We are talking. I pulled up the venue contract. Sign here. As Mary leaned forward to sign, a small notebook fell from her purse. I recognized it immediately. Matt's journal, the one he'd kept during our marriage. Why do you have that? I asked, my voice sharp. Mary snatched it up, but not before I glimpsed my name, written on the open page. Matt gave it to me, he said. He said it would help me understand. Understand what? Why he chose me. The words hit like a physical blow. Before I could respond, Angela appeared at our table, her face tight with concern. I thought I'd find you two here, she said, sliding into the empty chair. Mary, does Matt know you have his journal? Mary's face went pale. How did you? Because I saw him tearing apart your apartment, looking for it this morning. Angela cut in. He called me in a panic. I sat back, watching Mary's composure crack. What's in that journal, Mary? Nothing. She clutched it closer. Just his private thoughts. About me? I pressed. About us. Angela reached across the table. Mary, give me the journal. No. Mary stood up suddenly, knocking over her latte. Coffee spread across the scrapbook pages, turning teenage dreams into brown stains. Careful, I said, rescuing my tablet. We wouldn't want to ruin any more precious memories. Mary's eyes filled with tears. You think you're so perfect, don't you? But Matt wrote about you, about how controlling you were, how you planned everything down to the minute. He felt suffocated. Then he should have talked to me. I kept my voice level. Instead of sneaking around with my best friend. I made him happy, Mary's voice cracked. I still make him happy. Is that what he tells you? Angela asked quietly. Because that's not what he told Ernest. Mary's face went from red to white. What? Show her the emails, Willow. I pulled up the screenshots Ernest had sent me. Matt was planning to end things with you. The only reason he proposed was because you threatened to tell me everything. That's not, he loves me. Mary's grip on the journal loosened. He chose me. No, Angela stood up. He got caught, and you gave him an ultimatum. There's a difference. The journal slipped from Mary's hands, landing open on the coffee-stained scrapbook. A page caught my eye. Matt's handwriting, dated just 2 months ago. I've made a terrible mistake. Willow was my anchor, my home. Mary is a storm I got caught in, and now I'm drowning. Mary saw me reading and grabbed the journal, but it was too late. Her hands shook as she shoved it back into her purse. "The wedding is in 6 weeks," she said, her voice hollow. "I need you to finish the planning." Of course, I smiled, and for the first time I felt no anger, only pity. "It'll be exactly what you always dreamed of." As Mary hurried out of the coffee shop, Angela turned to me. "Are you okay?" "Better than okay," I said, saving the venue contract. "I finally understand." "Understand what?" "Why revenge isn't necessary." I closed my tablet. "They're doing a perfectly good job of destroying themselves." Angela helped me clean up the coffee-stained scrapbook. "So you're not going through with your plan?" "Oh, I am." I gathered my things. "But not for revenge. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to give them exactly what they asked for." My phone buzzed with a text from Matt. "Mary's upset. What did you say to her?" I showed it to Angela, then typed back, "Nothing she didn't already know. By the way, I found the perfect reading for your ceremony. It's about truth, consequences, and the price of happiness." "What reading?" Angela asked. I smiled, remembering the journal entry. "I'm thinking Matt's own words might make the perfect wedding vows." As we left the coffee shop, I felt lighter than I had in months. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about letting people face their own truths, even if those truths come wrapped in white roses and black dahlias. "He wants to meet you alone?" Sebastian paced my living room, waving Matt's text message in the air. "Absolutely not. It's a public place," I said, adjusting my blazer in the mirror. "The hotel lobby bar where we had our first date. That's manipulative as hell, and you know it." My phone buzzed with another message from Matt. "Please, Will, I need to explain something. You're not seriously considering this." Sebastian blocked my path to the door. "Move, little brother. Not until you tell me what you're planning." I sighed, checking my watch. "I'm planning to listen, that's all." "Bull—" A knock at the door interrupted him. Angela stood there with Ernest, both looking concerned. "We heard about Matt's message," Angela said, stepping inside. "We're coming with you." "No." I grabbed my purse. "I need to do this alone." Ernest moved forward. "Willow, my brother's not stable right now. Mary's threatening to call off the wedding, and he's spiraling." "Good," Sebastian muttered. "Not good," Ernest countered. "He's drinking again." That stopped me cold. Matt's drinking had been an issue early in our marriage, but he'd been sober for 6 years. "When did he start again?" I asked. "Right after Mary gave him the ultimatum," Ernest said. "He's been hiding it. But yesterday, he showed up drunk to our mother's birthday lunch." My phone buzzed again. "I'm here. Where are you?" "I have to go," I said, pushing past them. "Then we're coming too," Angela insisted. "We'll sit at another table. Just, please let us be there." 20 minutes later, I walked into the hotel bar. Matt sat at our old usual spot, nursing what looked like whiskey. My friend settled discreetly in a corner booth while I approached him. "You came?" He stood, swaying slightly. "Sit down, Matt." He dropped back onto the bar stool, pushing a folder toward me. "I found these while packing up my office." Inside were photos of us. Vacation snapshots, wedding pictures, candid moments from our life together. And beneath them, a stack of handwritten letters. "What are these?" "Letters I wrote but never sent." He slurred slightly. "When things started getting hard. When I started feeling trapped." "Trapped?" I kept my voice steady. "We were married for 8 years, Matt. You never once said you felt trapped." "How could I?" He took another drink. "You were so perfect. Had everything planned out. Kids by 35, house in the suburbs by 40. Those were our plans. We made them together. Did we?" He pulled out one of the letters. "Or did you make them, and I just nodded along?" Is that what you tell yourself to justify sleeping with my best friend? The bartender glanced our way. Matt lowered his voice. Mary was a mistake. A mistake you're marrying in 6 weeks. Because she'll tell everyone what I did if I don't. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. Everyone already knows what you did, Matt. Not everything. He fumbled with another letter. Not about the others. The room went still. Others. Before Mary. 3, no, 4 others. He laughed bitterly. You never noticed. You were too busy planning our perfect life. From the corner booth, I saw Sebastian start to rise. Angela pulled him back down. Why are you telling me this now? I asked, my voice ice. Because I miss you. He grabbed my hand again, harder this time. Mary's crazy. She's obsessed with being you. Keeps asking me to compare her to you. Wants to know every detail about our marriage. I extracted my hand. And whose fault is that? Help me, he whispered. Call off the wedding. Tell Mary you can't do it. She'll listen to you. No. Please, Will. I'll do anything. I stood up, gathering the photos and letters. You're right about one thing, Matt. I am a planner, and this wedding, it's going to be the crowning achievement of my career. What does that mean? It means you're getting exactly what you asked for. I tucked the folder into my bag. Thanks for the letters. They'll make perfect inspiration for my speech. Speech? His face paled. You're not giving a speech. Of course I am, Mary insisted. Her best friend, sharing memories of our long friendship. I smiled. Don't worry. I'll make sure to include plenty of recent memories too. As I walked away, he called after me. Willow, wait. I joined my friends at their table. Sebastian immediately wrapped an arm around me. You okay? Perfect, I said, pulling out the letters. Look what Matt just gave me. Ernest took one, his face darkening as he read. This is everything we need, I finished. Every secret, every lie, every mistake. What are you going to do with them? Angela asked. I thought about Mary's desperate grip on Matt's journal, about his drunken confession, about all the perfect plans that had crumbled. I'm going to tell the truth, I said. Every word of it. After all, isn't that what wedding speeches are for? The florist called. Sebastian announced, walking into my office. The black dahlias are confirmed for next week's delivery. I looked up from Matt's letters, spread across my desk like evidence at a crime scene. Perfect. Still reading those? Listen to this one. I picked up a wrinkled page. Sometimes I watch Willow sleep and wonder if I'm living someone else's life. She has everything mapped out, every moment scheduled. I feel like an actor following a script. Sebastian sat down. When did he write that? 3 years ago, right around the time he started his first affair, apparently. My phone lit up with Mary's face. I let it ring. That's the 6th time today, Sebastian noted. 7th. She's panicking because Matt's gone missing. Missing. According to Ernest, he cleaned out their joint account and checked into some hotel. I shuffled the letters into a neat pile. But that's not my problem anymore. A knock at the door made us both jump. Angela stood there, looking nervous. Don't freak out, she said. But Mary's downstairs. She's crying in the lobby. I groaned. Send her up. Minutes later, Mary burst in, mascara streaking her cheeks. He's gone. The wedding is in 5 weeks, and he's just gone. Sit down. I pointed to a chair. Breathe. How can you be so calm? She collapsed into the seat. Everything's falling apart. Sebastian caught my eye. I'll give you two some privacy. Once he left, Mary leaned forward. I found more letters in his desk, letters about other women. Before me, I know. I pulled out my copies. He told me everything at the bar. He what? Her face went pale. When did you? 2 days ago, right before he disappeared. Mary grabbed the letters, scanning them frantically. These are horrible. The things he says about you, about your marriage, about your relationship too. I pointed to one dated just last month. Apparently, you're suffocating him just like I did. No, she shook her head. He loves me. He chose me. Did he? I pulled up the bank statement Ernest had sent me. Because it looks like he chose to empty your savings account and run. Mary's hands trembled as she read the statement. This has to be a mistake. The only mistake was believing he changed. I stood up, walking to my design board. But the wedding plans are coming along beautifully. The black dahlias are ordered. The venue is confirmed. And I've finished writing my speech. Your speech? Of course. The maid of honor always gives a speech. I turned to face her. Unless you'd rather I didn't. No. She grabbed my arm. Please, I need you there. I need everything to be perfect. Matt will come back. He has to. My phone buzzed. Ernest again. I answered on speaker. Found him. Ernest's voice filled the room. He's at the Olympic Hotel, drunk out of his mind. He keeps saying he needs to talk to Willow. Mary's face crumpled. The Olympic? That's where you first slept together, I finished. While I was at my grandmother's funeral. The silence that followed was deafening. I'll go get him, Mary finally whispered, gathering her purse. No, I said, picking up my car keys. I'll go. Willow. The Olympic was where he proposed to me, Mary. Seems fitting I should be the one to find him there. I drove through Seattle's rain-slicked streets, memories flooding back with each turn. The Olympic Hotel loomed ahead, its Art Deco facade unchanged from the night Matt had knelt before me with my grandmother's ring. Ernest met me in the lobby. Room 812. He's been drinking since yesterday. Does he know I'm coming? No, but he keeps reading this. Ernest handed me a crumpled paper, my wedding vows, written in my neat handwriting. The elevator ride to the 8th floor felt eternal. Outside room 812, I could hear Matt's voice, slurred and desperate, leaving what sounded like a voicemail. I knocked. Go away, Mary. It's not Mary. Silence. Then shuffling footsteps. The door opened to reveal Matt, unshaven and reeking of whiskey. Will, he blinked. You came. Of course I did. I stepped inside. Someone has to make sure you're alive for your wedding. He laughed bitterly. The wedding. Right. Your perfect production. Our perfect production, I corrected him. You, me, and Mary. Giving everyone exactly what they deserve. What does that mean? I picked up the half-empty whiskey bottle from the nightstand. It means I'm going to tell them all the truth, Matt. Every word of it. Unless what? Unless you do it first. He sank onto the bed, head in his hands. I can't. Then I will. I headed for the door. The black dahlias are ordered, by the way. They'll look beautiful next to Mary's white roses, almost as beautiful as the truth will look next to all your lies. As I closed the door, I heard him start to cry. But this time, unlike all the times before, I felt nothing but peace. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about causing pain. It's about letting people face the pain they've caused themselves. The Anderson Estate Gardens looked exactly as I'd planned. Black dahlias wove through white roses, creating shadows in the autumn sunlight. Guests filled the rows of white chairs, whispering among themselves. The perfect wedding, down to the last detail. You look too calm, Sebastian said, adjusting my deep blue dress. It's unsettling. Everything's ready. I checked my phone. The video is cued, the speech is memorized, and, Willow, Mary's voice carried from the bridal suite. I need you. I found her pacing in her wedding dress, the same design I'd worn at my wedding. What's wrong? Matt's not answering his phone. She clutched my grandmother's ring, now on her finger. Ernest can't find him. Breathe. I guided her to a chair. He'll be here. How do you know? Because he's a coward, I said simply. And cowards always show up to avoid confrontation. Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from Ernest. He's here, drunk again. Mary grabbed my phone, reading the message. No. He promised he'd stay sober. I'll handle it. I headed for the door. That's what the maid of honor does, right? I found Matt in the groom's suite. Ernest trying to force coffee into him. You look terrible, I said, closing the door. Couldn't sleep. Matt's eyes were bloodshot. Kept thinking about your speech. My speech? I smiled. Don't worry, I'll only tell the truth. Willow, please. 2 minutes until places. I checked my watch. Better straighten that tie. The ceremony began exactly as planned. Mary walked down the aisle to the same song that had played at our wedding. Matt swayed slightly at the altar, his face pale. Then came my reading. Matt's letters, edited into a beautiful piece about love and truth. With each word, I watched him recognize his own writing, his own confessions. Love, I read, is about choices, the choices we make, the truths we tell, and the lies we live with. Mary beamed, thinking the words were mine. Matt looked like he might vomit. The ceremony proceeded. Rings were exchanged. My grandmother's ring now permanently on Mary's finger. Then came the reception, and with it, my speech. I stood, champagne in hand, facing the crowd. Sebastian gave me a subtle thumbs up. Angela held her phone, ready to record. When Mary asked me to be her maid of honor, I began. I was surprised. After all, it's unusual to ask your husband's ex-wife to play such an important role. The room fell silent, but then again, Mary and I have always shared everything. I smiled directly at Matt. Our dreams, our secrets, our husband. Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. I've known Mary since we were children. We planned our weddings together, shared every detail of our lives, and Matt, well, I thought I knew Matt too. 8 years of marriage teaches you a lot about someone, or so I thought. Mary's smile began to fade. But sometimes the people we think we know best are the ones who surprise us most, like finding out your husband's been having affairs for years, or discovering your best friend's been sleeping with him while helping you plan your anniversary party. Gasps echoed through the room. Matt half rose from his chair, but Ernest pulled him back down. I could tell you about finding them together in my bed on my anniversary. I could share the letters Matt wrote about his other affairs. I could even play the video from the Olympic Hotel last week, where he admitted everything. I paused, letting the silence grow heavy. But instead, I'll share something else. I pulled out a final letter. Mary, this is for you. Matt wrote it 3 days ago. He asked me not to read it. But since when do best friends keep secrets? Mary's hands shook as she took the letter. She read it silently, her face draining of color. Mary, I read my copy aloud. I'm marrying you because I'm a coward. Because you threatened to expose me if I didn't. But the truth is, I don't love you. I never loved you. You were just another escape, another mistake in a long line of mistakes. And now we're both trapped. The room erupted in chaos. Mary burst into tears. Matt lunged for the letter, knocking over the wedding cake. Guests stood, phones recording everything. To the happy couple, I raised my glass. May you both get exactly what you deserve. I walked off the stage as Mary ran from the room, Matt stumbling after her. Sebastian appeared at my side, grinning. That, he said, was better than revenge. That, I corrected him, was the truth. Through the garden windows, I could see Mary throwing my grandmother's ring into the fountain. Matt was on his knees, probably begging, while guests filmed everything on their phones. Angela joined us, showing her recording. This'll go viral. It doesn't matter, I said, watching my perfectly planned chaos unfold. The truth would have come out eventually. I just made sure it happened at the perfect moment, in the perfect setting, surrounded by perfect flowers. After all, that's what I do best, plan perfect events that people never forget. And that's how I became Seattle's most in-demand wedding planner, I said, closing my portfolio. Nothing sells like a viral video of a wedding gone wrong. The potential client, across my desk, a tall woman named Rachel, leaned forward. So you deliberately ruined their wedding? No, I smiled. I gave them exactly what they asked for, a perfect wedding, where the truth came out. My office door opened, and Sebastian poked his head in. Sorry to interrupt, but Mary's downstairs. Rachel's eyes widened. The Mary, from the video? Would you excuse me? I stood. Sebastian can show you our venue options. In the lobby, Mary sat clutching a familiar journal. She looked different, shorter hair, no makeup, wearing jeans instead of her usual designer clothes. I'm moving to Portland, she said as I approached. Thought you might want this back. She held out Matt's journal. Keep it, I said. I have the letters. Those letters, she smiled weakly. They're everywhere now. Matt's mother found them, showed them to everyone in their family. The other women started coming forward. I heard. I sat beside her. Ernest told me Matt checked into rehab. After he tried to win you back and you turned him down. She picked at a loose thread on her jeans. He went to your house, didn't he? I nodded, remembering that rainy night last week. Matt, drunk again, throwing pebbles at my window like we were teenagers, begging for another chance, claiming Mary meant nothing, that all the others meant nothing. What did you say to him? Mary asked. I told him the truth. I met her eyes. That he meant nothing. She laughed. A real laugh, possibly her first since the wedding. God, we were both so stupid, fighting over a man who didn't deserve either of us. You were my best friend, Mary. I know. She stood, clutching the journal. That's why I came today, to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not just sorry, I got caught sorry. Does it matter now? It matters to me. She pulled an envelope from her purse. I'm starting therapy in Portland. Part of the process is making amends. So here's your grandmother's ring back. I fished it out of the fountain after, well, you know. The small envelope felt heavy in my hand. Keep it, sell it, whatever. No, she insisted. It belongs in your family. Maybe someday you'll have a daughter who deserves it more than I did. My phone buzzed. Rachel was ready to continue our meeting. But Mary wasn't finished. The video of your speech, she said quietly. It saved me in a way. Watching myself fall apart like that, seeing what I'd become, it woke me up. That wasn't my intention. Yes, it was. She smiled. You always were the better planner. As she turned to leave, I called after her. Mary? Yeah? Portland's nice in the spring. She nodded, understanding the implicit forgiveness. Maybe I'll send you a postcard. Back in my office, Rachel waited with Sebastian, who was showing her photos of recent events. Sorry about that, I said, sitting down. Don't be, Rachel grinned. Your brother was just showing me the amazing things you've done since, you know, the viral video. Speaking of which, Sebastian pulled up a new email. The luxury resort in Hawaii wants to book you for their entire wedding season. They said, and I quote, "We need someone who knows how to handle dramatic situations with grace." I laughed. They have no idea. So, Rachel leaned forward. Will you plan my wedding? That depends. I opened my calendar. Are you marrying someone else's husband? She laughed. No, just my boyfriend of 5 years, who finally proposed. No drama, I promise. Boring, Sebastian teased. Perfect, I corrected him. Sometimes the best weddings are the ones where love is the only surprise. After they left, I opened the envelope Mary had given me. My grandmother's ring caught the afternoon light. Still beautiful, despite everything it had witnessed. I slipped it into my desk drawer, next to the dried black dahlia I'd kept from the wedding. Sebastian returned with coffee. You okay? Better than okay. I pulled up the Hawaii resort's email. I think it's time to expand the business. How do you feel about island weddings? As long as there's no revenge plotting involved. Please, I smiled. I'm done with revenge. These days I prefer karma. It has better timing. My phone lit up with a text from Ernest. Matt's asking about you again. I showed Sebastian the message before typing back. Tell him I'm busy planning perfect weddings for people who deserve them. The autumn sun set over Seattle's skyline, casting long shadows through my office windows. On my desk, the black dahlia's petals had dried into something beautiful and strange, like the truth, preserved in perfect condition, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Sometimes the best endings aren't about revenge or forgiveness. Sometimes they're about finding your own version of perfect, even if you have to wade through someone else's lies to get there.